What if everything you were taught about ancient people was wrong? What if thousands of years ago, humans understood machines, energy, and engineering at a level we still struggle to explain today? What if history didn't begin with caves and sticks, but with lost knowledge we can no longer fully understand? Tonight, we're diving into the most unsettling mystery of all: lost civilizations that created technology that should not have existed in their time. Objects so advanced that even modern scientists are still arguing about how they were made. Some were discovered by accident, some were ignored, some were locked away in museums with labels that quietly say, "We don't know." And the deeper you go, the more uncomfortable the questions become. Were ancient humans smarter than we think? Did knowledge rise and then vanish? Or are we missing a piece of human history on purpose? Let's begin where disbelief starts to feel unavoidable. In 1901, a group of sponge divers off the coast of a small Greek island called Antikythera made a discovery that would shake archaeology forever. They were expecting statues. Instead, they pulled up a corroded lump of bronze and wood from a shipwreck over 2,000 years old. At first, it looked like nothing, just rust, broken gears, junk. But when scientists looked closer, they realized something terrifying. Inside that lump were dozens of interlocking bronze gears, cut with extreme precision. Gears arranged in a way no one believed ancient people could create. When researchers reconstructed it, they discovered it wasn't art. It wasn't decoration. It was a machine. The Antikythera mechanism turned out to be an ancient analog computer. Not a simple calculator, but a complex device designed to track the movements of the sun, moon, and planets. It could predict eclipses decades in advance. It could model lunar cycles. It even accounted for irregularities in the moon's orbit that were not formally described by scientists until over 1,000 years later. Let that sink in. This device was built around 100 BCE, at a time when history books tell us humans barely understood mathematics. Yet this machine uses gear ratios and mechanical logic similar to 18th century clocks. In fact, nothing this advanced appears again in history for more than 2,500 years. So the question becomes unavoidable: who built it? Where did the knowledge come from? And why does this technology suddenly appear and then disappear? There are no workshops found, no blueprints, no other machines like it. It's as if someone dropped advanced knowledge into the ancient world and then erased all traces of it except one. And Antikythera is not alone. Travel east to ancient Mesopotamia near modern-day Iraq. In the 1930s, archaeologists uncovered strange clay jars buried near Baghdad. Inside each jar was a copper cylinder and an iron rod. At first glance, they seemed ceremonial. But then someone asked a dangerous question: what if these weren't religious objects? When replicas were built and filled with acidic liquid like vinegar, something unexpected happened. They produced electricity. These objects, now known as the Baghdad batteries, could generate a small electric current. Not huge, but enough to perform electroplating, enough to coat metals with gold or silver. This discovery shattered assumptions. Electricity, according to standard history, wasn't discovered until the 18th century. Yet here was possible evidence that people over 2,000 years ago understood basic electrical principles. Some argue they were used for rituals. Others say they powered medical treatments. Some suggest they were used for plating jewelry. But no one can say for sure, and that's the most unsettling part. Because if ancient people had access to electricity, even in a basic form, what else did they know? And why don't we see a clear technological path from that knowledge to later civilizations? Once again, knowledge appears and then vanishes. Now let's talk about Egypt, because if there is one civilization that refuses to fit into neat timelines, it is ancient Egypt. The Great Pyramid of Giza has stood for over 4,500 years. It is made of over 2.3 million stone blocks, some weighing more than 80 tons. The stones are cut with such precision that you can barely slide a razor blade between them. The pyramid is aligned almost perfectly with true north, with an error margin smaller than many modern buildings. Even today, engineers struggle to explain how it was done. The commonly taught explanation involves ramps, ropes, and massive human labor. But when engineers try to recreate these methods, they fail. The math doesn't work. The time doesn't add up. The tools don't leave the marks we would expect. Some stones appear to have been cut using techniques similar to modern saws or drills. Others show signs of being shaped in ways copper tools should not allow. Inside the pyramids, there are shafts aligned with specific stars. The structure itself reflects advanced knowledge of geometry, astronomy, and Earth measurements. Some researchers claim the pyramid encodes information about the size of the Earth and the precession of the equinoxes. Was this coincidence, or did the Egyptians inherit knowledge from a much older source? Egyptian texts themselves speak of a time before dynasties, when gods ruled and knowledge was given to humans. Many scholars dismiss these as myths. But myths often hide memories of real events, distorted by time. And here's where things get even stranger. In ancient temples, there are reliefs that some interpret as modern-looking objects. Shapes that resemble helicopters, submarines, and advanced machinery. Mainstream explanations say these are overlapping hieroglyphs or erosion patterns. But critics ask, why do they resemble modern machines so clearly? Coincidence again? Or pattern? Let's leave Egypt and move to South America. High in the Andes Mountains, the ruins of Machu Picchu and Sacsayhuaman display stonework so precise it seems impossible. Massive stones are cut and fitted together without mortar, so tightly that they have survived earthquakes for centuries. Some stones have complex angles, interlocking shapes, and curves that seem carved with advanced tools. Yet the official explanation says these were made using stone hammers. Try it yourself. Take a rock and shape granite with another rock. You'll quickly realize how unrealistic that explanation is. The Inca had no iron tools, no wheels, no written language, yet they built cities at extreme altitudes with advanced drainage systems and earthquake-resistant architecture. How? And why does this level of engineering appear suddenly with no clear development stage? Now let's talk about something even older. In India, ancient texts like the Mahabharata describe weapons that sound disturbingly similar to modern technology. Blinding flashes of light, explosions that turned cities to ash, people losing their hair and nails, food becoming poisoned. Some dismiss these as poetic exaggerations, but others point out that the descriptions closely resemble nuclear effects. In Mohenjo-Daro, an ancient city in the Indus Valley, archaeologists found skeletons scattered, as if people died suddenly. Some researchers claimed traces of radiation were detected, though this remains controversial. Still, the mystery lingers. Did ancient civilizations experience technological peaks that ended in catastrophe? And if so, are we repeating their mistakes? Across the world, we find similar patterns. Advanced stonework with unknown methods. Astronomical knowledge that requires long-term observation. Maps that show coastlines only visible from the air. Artifacts that don't fit their time. The Peary Race map, created in 1513, shows parts of Antarctica centuries before it was officially discovered. And not just Antarctica, but Antarctica without ice. How could ancient source maps show a frozen continent as it looked thousands of years ago? Who mapped it? From Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, dated over 11,000 years old, to precision-cut stone in Baalbek weighing over 1,000 tons, the evidence keeps stacking up. And every time we are told the same thing. They were primitive, but the evidence whispers something else. What if human civilization is not a straight line from simple to advanced? What if it's a cycle? What if knowledge rises, collapses, and rises again? Imagine a world before recorded history, where humans reached high levels of science and engineering. Then imagine a global catastrophe, floods, climate change, impact events that wiped out most of that knowledge. Survivors passed fragments to future generations who mythologized what they no longer fully understood. Suddenly the puzzles start to connect. The gods who taught humans. The sudden leaps in technology. The advanced artifacts with no clear ancestors. And here's the most uncomfortable thought of all. If ancient civilizations once had advanced technology and lost it, what does that say about us? Are we really at the peak of progress? Or are we just another chapter in a long cycle of rise and collapse? We assume our knowledge is permanent, that our data, science, and achievements will last forever. But history suggests otherwise. Libraries burned, empires fell, knowledge disappeared. And maybe thousands of years from now, future humans will dig up fragments of our world and ask the same questions. How did they build this? Why did they disappear? What knowledge did they lose? So now I want to hear from you. Do you believe ancient civilizations were more advanced than we are taught? Do you think the Antikythera mechanism, the Baghdad battery, and Egyptian engineering are coincidences or evidence of lost knowledge? Was there once a forgotten high-tech civilization? Or are we simply underestimating our ancestors? And if advanced knowledge was lost once before, what makes us so sure it can't happen again?